attended the Mass during Christ the King at the cathedral. So we were very impressed when we saw a lot of people attending, you know. So it was a very nice and very solemn, you know, expression of, you know, faith. And at the same time, because I remember Cardinal Bantuan, I think he's going to be a first Vietnamese saint in the future. It was year 2000 when I was in Rome attending the Eucharistic Congress. So he was sharing with us his life when he was in prison. You know, so that was really incredible at that time. That's the reason why I had in mind that maybe you or some of those whom I will be interviewed later on, were you not in prison at the time?
No, I am not.
That's so. You're more lucky.
So I am not.
That's I think.
I feel weaker than the cardinal, sure. So God doesn't want that I am in the prison because I am weaker than him. Ever
since you're small, you already wanted to be a priest, right? So, and now you become, after how many years of priest before you become a bishop? Because you mentioned bishop was 15 years.
29 years.
Oh, okay.
I was ordained in 1970, ordained priest, and was ordained bishop 1999. 99. So it's 50 years ago, more than 50 years in May, 20 May 1999.
So you're a diocesan priest, or do you belong to any religious community?
I am a diocesan priest.
Okay. So you know that by 2016 in our country, we will celebrate this 51st International Eucharistic Congress in Cebu. So it's very important, you know, our relationship, our encounter with Jesus, right? So we will talk about that later on. So what do you think now as an Archbishop of Ho Chi Minh, what is the biggest challenges that you are facing right now?
There are some challenges, yes. First, for the clergy, formation is very important thing. And now the influence of the secularization in the formation, is very strong.
It's very strong
So
now.
you have to work very hard.
Okay.
I have many priests, like my secretary. They are very good, but you have to form the new generation. Very difficult to form a new generation. So that is I think that's the biggest challenge for our church. The second is the life of the laity. The laity, they are very active in the church.
Yes.
But I think that they must grow up, and also the formation of the laity is very, very, very important for us. Very, very important. But now in the societies, there are a lot of problems, moral problems. So that's difficult. Like abortion, like a very big problem for Vietnam.
So you still have that.
I think that is also the problem for Philippines.
Yes, everywhere,
Maybe I think that we are the first in South Asia for abortion.
Okay.
So that's a very big challenge. Like the Pope and John Paul II talked already about the culture of life, civilization of life, very important thing for us now.
Yes. I'm very surprised because I thought when you were occupied by the government at that time after the Vietnam War, so it seems that there's a little bit strictness. But when you said that problem of secularization is also happening here in Ho Chi Minh.
Not strict because
and then,
the government was strict.
Yeah, that's why I'm very surprised because what I learned before and what I read is something quite different, you know? Because you know, you remember when the Vietnamese refugee came to the Philippines first time, I was there at Morong.
Yes.
So I was I was able to talk to this Vietnamese refugee, and then I had the chance to go to Thailand to see the biggest Vietnamese camp in Bangkok, so I was able to witness also, you know. So for me, that I was still a student at that time. So you can just imagine my mind was really something that's very strict here. But you corrected me that. You told me it's not really like that. It's not really very strict, you know.
The world changes very quickly. Yeah?
Yes, yes. So actually,
now you have the globalization. So very important. I think that the same thing like in Philippines.
so you mentioned also abortion is also one of your biggest problem here right now.
Yes.
For me, it's
In
a
the
big
society,
surprise.
In the society. But
Yes.
in the church, we try to do our best to limit the abortions, to limit it, and to help the young women to give life to for the children.
I think when people from the Philippines will hear and listen to you, I think, you know, it will correct the impression that we had. This is reality.
Yes.
So we will see that in the church we are all, you know, have the same kind of problems that we encounter because secularization is a global threat to all the churches all over the world.
Yes.
But one thing that is quite deep is that our faith is very much alive here in Asia. Do you agree with me?
Yes, our faith is very strong. Yes. But here in Vietnam, we are minority. In Philippines, you are majority.
Yes.
So we have to try to do our best to work hard, to keep our faith and to grow up our faith.